Now, kakra me pese me kan yakwan enye dodo na enye ewo Ghana ha and afi ye street lights ye maame no eka bebre efa tourism ho.
So I don't know whether once again the local is Chinese or is Latin. He's a very intelligent person. So if you could explain further what local means.
In terms of strong vocabulary and intonation.
The rendition is like this. Sorry. Member may exercise the option to address the House in a local language, if facilities exist.
Now, with your leave, he had opportunity to interpret or to offer some translation. We may not be happy with the tenor or the term.
Let me give the last one to Honorable Asante Achime.
Asante Achime, yes.
Asante Achime.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to stand by Order 631 of the Standing Order and bring my contribution in the local language.
Order
633.
Are you going to do the interpretation in English?
Yes, I can do that, yeah.
If you can do that, but why do you want to do it in Twi?
My constituents have told me severally that they want to hear or understand most of what we speak about in Parliament in the local language. So if I can indulge you on that, I would really appreciate it.
Is that so?
Yes, please. Right. Mr. Speaker, Didin Kameda Yunyaba Aye Felicia Eje Sir Ode and some here we are today. Now, kakra me pese me kan yakwan enye dodo na enye ewo Ghana ha and afi ye street lights ye maame no eka bebre efa tourism ho ye nim sene tourism eboa krubia sene itimide sika eba ema economy no emu epija. Now mefa kwanya we so no masa atwe aban na dwen asi se ye nyina nim se ye vice president ye maame Jane Nana Opoku oye oba na ya na etode bia ya sefem se wonnam ba bi te se East Legon ene mia bibre a ye nuanom ma sene omo asalai ewo kwan ho a ya na ade ya semfem ani timi hu ni sese e betimi afa akwanya bi so na yetu maifo sene be ya omunjeja kwan ho se bi obi wo ha bi we free America we free UK wate Ghana opese obeji nani kakra wo Ghana opese o visit tourism sites na ohu enema bi sei na face ye street lights bebre onam a enjajuma ani nti emma ya na kronumo ni gie no ya na nipa bebre nheda enya ne saa nti me fa kwanya we so na matwe aban no adwen asi problems a efa yakwan a bebre enye efa ye street lights bebre asese na afi ya na se ne yehu ema bebre egina ekwan ho a ebi asa omunye djuma bia bara se sebi basibra na omobo ne de etu omofo se enya no nko na ye adwuma o betimi aye ewo Ghana mamu ha aninti sabrei mesa ato so aka se oba ba bi te se Asante Achim no hwidiem kura frɛ hwidiem a hwidiem ye waterfalls ewo ho ye pese ye krakra ne yi se ne be ya Asante Achim no nso so tourism ni bi ebetimi apagya wo ho oba ba bi te se onyemso was Asante Achim no fa also so ye waterfalls ni bi wo ho a enka yesuzu se aban ne de nani kɔ ho a ebetimi aboa ama tourism was Asante Achim no nso so apagya. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. If you want me to
do the interpretation for us.
Okay, right.
Honorable members, let's listen to him. He has to do the interpretation for us.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So I want to thank the maker of this statement, my colleague Honorable Felicia Ejei. I know that she spoke about tourism in Ghana. She made mention of bad road networks. She made mention of a lot of street lights which are not in good condition. She made mention of problems within her constituency. And so I know she urged the government to intervene and put things right in her constituency, which will help with tourism in her constituency. I know that most of my colleagues here and the honorable members in this house understand what I've put now, and so I will not continue more. I will not say much more. I think that's okay. They understand exactly what I've spoken about. Thank you very much.
Very well. Honorable members. Honorable Saramo, are you coming to litigate on this matter?
Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I think the order 63.1 with a caption or heading language or proceedings. With your permission, I would like to quote. The proceedings of Parliament shall ordinarily be conducted in English, except that a member may exercise the option to address the House in a local language if facilities exist in the House for interpretation by the member or for contemporaneous interpretation. Mr. Speaker, I think in this House it is visibly, credibly, crystal clear that we don't have that facility to allow my honorable member from the other side to, in my opinion, per the orders, put up this unparliamentary position or action. Mr. Speaker, I would like to admonish the rest of the House that we should not misinterpret the standing orders and by doing that mislead other Ghanaians. It is extremely important and critical that we lead for the larger relevant stakeholders out there to follow. But before I end, I would like to make an input into this very good submission.
No. Well, you let him listen to others related to the topic you just raised.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister Designate for
Mr. Speaker, I just want clearance. I heard him say in a local, so I was wondering whether it's Chinese or it's Latin. No, honestly, we all heard him in a local, so I don't know what local is. He needs to expatiate on what is local. It could be Chinese because he has spoken. He has attempted speaking Chinese before.
Honorable Motala, he's your friend, though.
Mr. Speaker, that is the more reason why I am concerned, because I know my friend is capable of speaking many languages. So I don't know whether once again the local is Chinese or is Latin. He's a very intelligent person. So if you could explain further what local means.
Mr. Speaker, if there is any means for us to allow the standard pronunciation system to be done here, I think I am a British trained. And Mr. Speaker, per the phonetics or intonation, C-A-L, if you want to pronounce that word, that vocabulary, it's not Carl, it's local. Go and check. So, Mr. Speaker, I think my brother and a friend, if anything at all, he knows that in terms of store vocabulary and in intonation according to the Queen's language, I think I have authority over that. And he has to accept that fact. In any case, it's not the pronunciation that is significant here. We are talking about adhering to the standing order, the very law that we ourselves have created. Because once you do this, you are just giving the whole house out. Because other people have read this, other stakeholders, they will take us on. Because adhering to the rule of law and the standing orders should begin from the house. And I think that is where the importance as a definitional element of what we are doing right now matters. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let me hear other people in relation to Standing Order 63. Yes, Honorable Member for
Lower Manyakrobo.
Lower Manyakrobo.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you read at Order 63.1, the rendition is like this. Sorry. Member may exercise the option to address the House in a local language, if facilities exist in the House for interpretation. Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, I believe that facilities here must be defined. Yes. Mr. Speaker, yes, and the gentleman has gone ahead to interpret. So I don't think there's an issue here. The fact is that if the person is going to facilitate interpretation, he has done that. He did it himself. Please, Mr. Speaker, at least I've been here for some 13 years. And a lot of the time, speeches are made.
Members, please,
Speaker,
let's respect each other. You spoke. Just
listen
allow
to
him
me.
to speak. Afterwards.
Mr. Speaker.
No.
Speeches are made on the floor of Parliament, sometimes laced with the local dialect, and members are given opportunity to interpret. That is it. No, it's the same thing. It is the same thing. What facilities are we talking about? What is the meaning of facilities? Technology. The best technology is a human being. Yes, so there's no, I don't think that this is an issue. Yes, he has facilitated the interpretation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, let me go to
Mr. Speaker, thanks for the opportunity. I don't want to belabor the point, but I think in the wisdom of the crafters of the standing orders, there is a reason why there is emphasis on contemporaneous interpretation. If we say that anybody can speak in any language and interpret without placing emphasis on contemporaneous interpretation, you will be here, and a whole leader will speak for 30 minutes, 1 hour, in a different language, and come to tell us that he wants to interpret that in English language. That is going to prolong our sittings. It's going to delay us unnecessarily. And so I think that the emphasis on contemporaneous interpretation is something that we must adhere to. Other than that, we leave room for people to say what they want to say for how long, doing filibuster, and then come back to say that they want to interpret that in English language. I think we have to pay attention to that.
very well. Honorable members, the honorable member sought permission that his constituents would like to see him speak in the local language. So when he sought that permission, I insisted. Then afterwards, you have to do the interpretation to more or less to the whole nation. So so I think we should allow him. Honorable members, I think we should allow him. He sought permission, not that he just got up. and spoke. He sought permission that his constituents would like to hear him in the local language. That's why I aligned. But I insisted that afterwards he have to do the interpretation himself. Yes, Honorable Susu, let me hear you on that. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the fact remains that the order says interpretation by the member. Yeah. No, please. Interpretation by the member. Read the standing orders. And then the other option, Mr. Speaker, the other option, listen to me. The proceedings of Parliament shall be ordinarily be conducted in English, except that a member may exercise the option to address the House in a local language if facilities exist. Hold it, please. In the House for interpretation by the member, or the other one is an option, or for contempt, or please, it's an option. He has facilitated the understanding of whatever he has said in tree, so that's okay. Please, it's okay. Sorry. No. That.
Honorable Talabi, please address the chair. Honorable Talabi, address the chair.
Facility can be space, even space and time. Oh, my friend. Space and time. Master.
Yes, let me listen to Sosu.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me first start by thanking you for the opportunity given to our brother to express himself in a local language, and also giving him the opportunity to interpret same in English language. Mr. Speaker, it is the rule of this House that this House is a master of its own rules. And when it comes to the interpretation of the standing orders, the views of the Speaker supersedes everyone's view. Mr. Speaker, indeed, if anyone has a problem with you admitting someone speaking in a local language, the time for the person to make that interjection is not when the person has finished making his contribution and interpreting same in the English language. In any event, our society is evolving. If we talk about Ghana progressing and moving away from neo-colonialism and neo-colonial ties, one of the ways we do that is, Mr. Speaker, what you have done right here in this House. So you should be commended for upholding that position and allowing the member to make his statement in his local language and explaining same in English language. Mr. Speaker, that is notwithstanding the fact that what my colleague said is indeed the position, that there should be facility. Ordinarily, perhaps there could have been, earpieces or where there'll be where Mr. Speaker, where whilst he's speaking, somebody may be interpreting same contemporaneously, or Mr. Speaker, that there may be an interpreter in the House whilst he's speaking in Cree. When he says one word, somebody interprets, so we know that it's contemporaneous. Mr. Speaker, but my point is that notwithstanding this position in the standing orders, Mr. Speaker, no one can take it away from you unless somebody wants to challenge your view on this matter, by which means the person will have to come by a motion. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for upholding this position. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is very clear. You are qualified to be a member of Parliament or contest for same if you are 18 years and above with sound mind. I have never heard that you should be able to speak. So 21 years, and above with sound mind. I have never heard that you should be able to speak the Queen's language as my brother was espousing. I haven't. Oh, listen to wisdom. I haven't heard anywhere to be very honest, Mr. Speaker, if you monitor proceedings in other parliaments in Africa, the Kenyan parliament, the South African parliament, and many other parliaments, they speak their local language. For me, this should ignite a national conversation around the acceptable, so to speak, language we must all use to communicate in this parliament. For me, what he did deepens our appreciation and value we have for our own languages. If we were to have a nationally accepted language in Ghana, I don't think that this would have been an issue in this House. But because we haven't been able to do that, that has occasioned sometimes some of this debate. Now, I don't want to get into whether he gave an interpretation of what he said or not. I really do not think it's an issue we should be debating about. More so when he sought permission from the Speaker. Can you imagine how his people will be feeling watching him speak a language they understand? He represents a constituency first and foremost. Even those of us who are here on the ticket of political parties, the first responsibility we have is the constituency that we represent. How do we know whether at the time he was making this contribution, the chief of his area was not even watching, who would feel very proud to listen to their son speak a language that they can resonate with their feelings and aspirations? So I think that we should not take the shine from this honorable member. We should not take the shine from this distinguished honorable member. Mr. Speaker, your decision is finito. You gave him the permission to do so. Let no one talk about any local. We don't want to hear any local again in this house. No local
Honorable members, let me listen lastly to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At least, Mr. Speaker, once a leader, always a leader. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, we are all very proud, and it will be in our interest for this House to allow each and every one to speak his language. I will be very proud to speak Konkomba in this House. Mr. Speaker, the colleague who spoke quoted standing orders. That's what he did. And we all agree that you are the master when it comes to the interpretation of our rules. You allowed him to speak, which we all agree. But the standing order that my good friend quoted has been misinterpreted. And that is what the honorable member from Inshiasu sought your guidance and your interpretation of that order. So it's not like we are running down what our colleague did, but we just wanted to understand so that we don't repeat it. So, Mr. Speaker, let nobody out there think that we don't want that language spoken. We all want to be proud. If that is the case, we allow ourselves, and when I run Konkomba now, Mr. Speaker, you will not understand. Okay, so I think that, Mr. Speaker, that is the reason why Mr. Speaker, I have not asked for your leave to speak Konkomba, so I wouldn't do it. So what we are saying is that our friend came under a wrong order and spoke.
Why?
Because order 63 does not permit him. No, he quoted my friend who spoke earlier. He came under order 63. Please, he came under order 63. And that is where this go in, come out is all about. So, Mr. Speaker, we want to thank you, and we think that we are all proud of our colleague. Whatever language he has spoken, we are all in for that, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I want to say that in Konkomba, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, in your danke, Echoni Makam Lawali, I would do ya Mua Lemuna, Anelmabe, Ndo Pandayapam,
Kudo Ghana Yapam in the return part, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, so to it, Mr. Speaker, what I'm simply saying is that we should try and make room for each and every one in this house to be able to use his language. And I also want to thank you and to also thank the people of Pandai for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Very well. Honorable members, I think this particular session is more or less triggering the nation into very important area, which is the language, the official language. Like Honorable Mutala said, some of us have visited East African countries, go to South Africa, and elsewhere. They have developed their local language in doing most of their official activities. So I think we are triggering this particular discussion, and okay, let me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. First of all, Mr. Speaker, the rules or the standing orders of this Parliament provides under Order 6 interpretations. What it has failed to do is to clearly interpret or provide definitions of some of the wordings or the phrases or otherwise the sentences used in the standing orders. First of all, my first, if you like, the evaluation or the review of this whole standing order. Mr. Speaker, I'm making a very valid point. Even a common proceedings of Parliament is not captured in our standing orders. What constitutes proceedings in this House is not even captured in the standing orders. And the standing orders, Order 6, if anybody will refer to it, even proceedings in this court is not defined. What constitutes proceedings in this House is not defined. Now, when you move to Order 61, that has been at the center of 63, that has been in the center of this even argument. There is no interpretation put on any of the words used in that order. And that is what is creating the confusion, perhaps, in this House at this stage. What we must do is to take time and go back to the standing orders, and every word, every phrase that is used, we must put interpretation on it first off, to be able to help the House to understand, so that members in this House will stop putting their own interpretation on the words used in these standing orders. That is my first suggestion. My second suggestion, Mr. Speaker, is that the word contemporaneous, in the absence of any interpretation in the standing orders that is guiding this court, we must put a simple Oxford dictionary meaning, or a simple Oxford dictionary meaning to the word contemporaneous. And what does that mean? Because that is common to every member in this House. Simply because, as a lawyer of 15 years at the bar, we are guided, Mr. Speaker, we are always guided by the laws of interpretation. Interpretation, we have literary approach, we have purposive approach, and anyhow you look at it, the words that has been captured in the order that has become subject of debate in this house. The only simple reason or the only simple meaning you can put to the words there, contemporaneous